Alright, welcome everyone to some more slow Demise. Uh, Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup Greaterplayer run. The one where I play real slow and, you know, I feel good. I finally got a good amount of sleep today. Haven't bled all day. Feels good, man. Maybe I'm coming back in the world. I'm making a recovery. And I accidentally messed up. Turns out that if you press Control L, which is what I use to stop my recording, and you're still focusing on Dungeon Crawl, yes, you do actually stop the recording, but you also move a turn. So the Orc Priest is now in a bad situation with me. There are a couple of interesting suggestions that I was given. Am I not focused on this? Yep. One was move back and then get around this corner, switch to the Dagger of Venom. Another one was go along this corridor and then maybe go upstairs or go all the way around to the really far corner. Most of them involve using the Dagger of Venom, which is pretty much the correct choice, I will say that now. But I think that in terms of optimalness, the corner solution down here is not as good. The Orc Priest is kind of going to create... the Orc Priest creates a very large threat. I have a lot of HP, and I apologize. The Smite actually can hit for up to 17 damage, apparently. So I was wrong on that. I only have seen 15, so I haven't seen 17 before. Or if I have, I haven't been paying attention. But generally, I don't want to be in melee with this Orc, as I don't know if there's another Orc Priest on the floor. Or an Orc Wizard or something. Generally, having the lack of a corner will really cause me to lose that information. So my strategy is going to be walk away to this corridor, switch to the blowgun, pull back, and try to fight right here. I could run away, but yeah, the corner solution is okay, but I want to stay on this side of the wall rather than on this side, because if I'm here, I'm gonna have to run around. Oops, I'm gonna have to run around in order to get to this upstairs here, in case there's some kind of secondary orc priest or something, or an orc wizard that seems to be behind the orc. You need to always remember that, of course, orcs come in packs usually, so it's probably a good idea to play around the pack rather than playing around the singular orc. This character is, of course, quite strong. Not weak in any sense, really, at this point in time. So, he can take on a few orcs, but I do want to try to be a little bit more cautious, like I said. I'm still trying to play a bit more conservatively. And here's a black bear. We've already seen this situation. The strategy is just run away and hopefully ping him with a bit of poison. And he'll go berserk at some point, and then we'll be okay. Okay, gonna fight him on the upstairs. That gives us two options now if he wants to go berserk. The fight's gone fairly poorly, so I'm gonna go ahead and run away with this shaft. I'm gonna bend space and begin to run. Okay, so I'm at 24. I've lost 24 hit points, which is a fairly decent chunk of my health. His berserk may trigger soon, as I have poisoned him. So I think the right option here is to actually Ice Blast now. Ice Blasting now will make it so that I can finish him off with poison and blink away and, escape. If the poison ticked down and he berserked while at medium health, it would be very difficult for me to kill him afterwards. And he would do more damage. It's more safe to just Ice Blast at that point in time. Alright. Going down another staircase. This is an unknown one. That's fine, though. We've navigated around quite a couple of bad things in this floor anyway. I can now ID some scrolls or potions. I'll choose to do some potions, just because I can. I will actually keep one Identify scroll on my inventory. It might be useful for identifying some kind of artifact or anything, or potentially avoiding some distortion weapon effect, which could be very helpful for me. I'm actually going to switch to the hunting sling. The blowgun is good, but it's only good against a smaller subset of enemies compared to the compared to the sling, which does irresistible damage. Alright, again, moving in little concentric circles, building that defense up, I guess, that defensive exploration. Alright, the shift move is really messing me up. Alright, Howler-monkeys are opponents that are not incredibly difficult to fight, but they generate a large amount of noise. Meaning that once I fight this Howler-monkey, there will be a lot of noise. I'll just have to deal with it. I think the best way to handle that is just going upstairs and just fighting it up here. And then going down a different staircase to avoid the whole noise shenanigans that just happened. So we can just kind of, you know, do away with the issue. Okay. I'm going to continue exploring again. Doesn't look like there's much left on the floor, considering I've killed, like, most things already. Here's 3 orcs. The orc wizard has already noticed me, so it's probably best if I just kind of run away. At this point in time, there's quite a lot of unknown to my back, so running away and trying to get to possibly this corridor is more attractive than fighting in this corridor alone. So I'm going to go ahead and run. I'm in a fairly bad spot now because the opponent can actually get to me. What I'll do is I will dig diagonally down and fight in this corridor. I want to apply blowgun stacks first and then switch to the dagger of venom to try to stack as much poison as I can. The second I see that the opponent is max stacked in terms of venom, I either want to switch weapons to maybe the trident, or I need to start running away to let that venom kind of take effect. With venom, the best strategy is always to just kind of let things die, I guess. Which is, so you want to let the venom do maximum damage by keeping it up. In terms of like lethality, it's pretty important. So yeah, I was watching the logs and I said, okay, well, he's as sick as possible. I'm not going to be able to add more poison to him. I'm going to run away. Alright. Exploring again. Come on. There we go. Alright. Another scroll of ID. I'll use that on a scroll this time, I guess. I don't really care as much now. I have the curing ID'd, which is good. All I need to really ID now is heal wounds and maybe haste, and then I'm kind of fine. Alright, the V keys are really, like, still struggling with them. Whoa, that's a lot of shit. Okay, so this is a classic situation where there's a pack of enemies, including one orc dude. Again, the answer is pretty much just run away, so I'm just gonna not handle it. Sorry, I'm not gonna face the enemies in this corridor. I think one of the things about the puzzles that someone mentioned that was a good idea is the fact that the puzzles are really more important when you're in a life or death situation rather than in just like a general optimization point. I think I can really just glance over those points briefly rather than having you guys discuss things that are like arguably not that important. There is a null shaman now. He can actually haste the other orcs, which is kind of scary. And these jackals will be attacking me as I run away. But because I have so much AC, it's effectively impossible for them to deal any damage to me. As you can see here, I am just basically taking no damage at all. I can pull them up now and eat their corpses and then go down a different staircase to kind of split the pack. This is a classic pack splitting maneuver where you kind of just go down one staircase, lure a couple of guys, go down another staircase, and then just keep repeating it until you find that all of the pack enemies have kind of dispersed along the way. Some of them will forget that I existed, some of them will just not really care in the first place, and then I can just use that to my advantage by taking on fights that are 1v1 rather than 1v like 10 or 15. Alright, so here I'm switching to the blowgun, switching to the dagger of venom, stabbing the dagger once or twice, and then walking back. I want to avoid... This is pack splitting at its finest, really. Every single enemy in this fight is not incredibly dangerous by themselves, but when they're all attacking at once and they're hasted, there is a potential for there to be a reasonable amount of danger. Honestly, though, at D6, nulls do not really pose that much of a threat to this character, but regardless, I'm just not going to take any chances. Because again, we're doing this to the point of tedium. I'm feeling the tedium as well. Okay, so the null has the spear advantage on us. We want to use the Dagger of Venom because it's more efficient in killing. So as a result, I'm going to go around a corner at some point. However, I'm not going to go around this corner. This is a bit of a trap. If you go around this corner, you can get the free hit off in melee with that guy. That's fine. But you're not going to be able to run anywhere else. Instead, I'm actually going to go up here and fight like this. Because now I can run more freely than if I was right here. So if I was here, for example, I would have to run up. Actually, I don't know if that actually did change anything, really. Let me think. I'm pretty sure it did change something. I just don't know what exactly I changed. I think I take less damage if I do it like this. Or more accurately, I'm closer to the upstairs if I do it like this. This way. Because I can go around this corner, I can go around this one, and I can go around this one. Like that. And then that leads me to a free path to this upstairs. I think that's why I did it initially, but I didn't really explain that very well. Alright, again, we're looking towards Orc territory. We know they're somewhere down to the south. They may have moved, of course. I think they did. And now I have some spells to try. I'm not going to use them, though, because Banish is fairly MP hungry, and I don't want to waste too much time training stuff that I won't use. These spells aren't even, like, incredible either, so it's, like, not really worth my time. There's a Phantom here now. The Phantom is immune to Venom, so a lot of my strategies will not work on him. He's also going to blink a lot. So he's in melee with us right now. I'm going to start walking towards an upstairs. Ideally, the Phantom fight happens on an upstairs. On an upper floor. I'm going to lure this Orc towards me first, take him out, grab his chunks, and then walk back again, regenning all the way. Okay, the second the Phantom leaves my melee, I want to switch over to the sling to fire some rocks. I should actually fire sling bullets as they do a little bit more damage. The Phantom is actually a fairly annoying enemy this early in the game. For certain characters, it can be quite frustrating. Okay, a Dagger of Electrocution. So, again, this character is kind of annoying to fight. I'm going to use the blowgun and the runaway strategy. The electrocution damage can be fairly significant. So I want to try to avoid elect damage if I can. I won't die in one hit to elect. I'm just being overly cautious. But the blowgun is a free kill, basically, so there's no point in not doing that. I'm going to pick the Dagger of Electrocution up because that's also a very good weapon. Against most enemies, it'll out-DPS my Trident for the time being anyway, because my Trident has no brand. I'm going to drop the Flail of Crushing because it really doesn't serve any purpose anymore. Okay, cool. Since the floor is mostly done, I'm going to press O 1 or 2 times just to speed up the experience. It also has the benefit of picking up some of my things that I've dropped. This Null Shaman is wielding a Hand Axe of Chopping. He's not normally a threat by himself, but he can be a threat if he has a bunch of Nulls next to him. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of lure him over here, take him out the old-fashioned way, stabbing him in the back, running away. Okay, he's actually doing a fairly good amount of damage, so I'm going to just kite him around, let him die to poison. Okay, he somehow managed to attract his Nulls. I don't know how he did that, but he did it. I'm going to just employ the stab and run away strat here. I went to apply 2 stacks of Venom there because it didn't really feel like 1 stack of Venom was doing enough damage. There is another Null somewhere around here. I guess I'll just auto-explore to find him. Again, auto-explore is nice for just mopping up stuff that I've missed. Manual Explorer is good for the early parts of the game. Auto-explore is better for the later parts of the floor. There's another Null Shaman now. He will be quite annoying. I'm in a corridor, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire using tab. And what that does is it just fires in the general direction without really thinking too much. And that's going to be helpful for us because it just potentially poisons a couple of dudes at the back. The null is being really annoying here. I kind of don't want to get out of the corridor because the second he starts hasting shit, this will happen. I'm not in incredible danger again. I'm against nulls. I don't want to waste anything. So I'm just going to switch to the Dagger of Venom and do a couple of light taps while running back. I will still be taking damage due to them being faster than me. They'll have free attacks of opportunity, but the Venom is more important. I'm not taking that much damage. I'm only taking 1 null's worth of damage per turn, which is not a huge amount. Alright, ID the potions, they're degeneration. Just drop those, don't need them. There's a Crimson Imp here. I'm gonna just, I guess, switch to the Dagger of Electrocution. This will probably do enough damage to just one shot. There we go, nice and easy. And there we go, pretty good. Alright. So far there hasn't been like really anything that's like super life-threatening, so again, I'm gonna refrain from doing too many puzzles because they do tend to be kind of the same after a while if I just keep posting the same ones. I mostly picked the ones that I did yesterday because they were interesting for the purposes of like first time analysis, but once you repeat them, they're kind of the same thing. Yeah, like I said, I tried to pick based on what I thought was unique, but I think it's more important to pick on based on what's actually dangerous. Okay, so I'm gonna go and try to pick the downstairs that are nearest to the upstairs. It just means that I might be able to like blink and run away to another upstairs if I need to. Alright, Roar of Battle, that's the Bailey. The Bailey can be done somewhat safely. It's one of the harder early branches though, because a lot of them are just unfair. I'm gonna go ahead and ID some scrolls here. And I'm gonna read the third unknown scroll on the downstairs. And this will tell us where the Bailey is. Okay, it turns out it's actually right next to us. I'm happy to go for it, but I'm not happy to risk myself for it. So if things go badly, I'm just gonna leave. And if things look like I'm attracting too much heat, I'll also leave. I'll switch to the Trident here so that we have even fighting grounds. I'm taking a small amount of risk compared to regular exploration patterns by just doing this big push forward. That's okay though. Okay, so this is a fairly safe position to be in, I think. A lot of the loot is kind of worthless in this place, and I'm not getting much EXP out of it. The chances of me dying to a stray bolt, is not incredibly high, but I kind of don't want to waste my time in here. It just seems like it's pointless to go in. The benefit is kind of low compared to the reward. I mean, the reward might be good, but I'm just not, like, super incentivized to do this. I could try one little, like, section out by firing poison darts at this Orc Warrior and seeing how he does. Yeah, that's quite a lot of damage. I'm just gonna avoid this place. I threw, like, 4 poison needles. That's whatever. It's not that big of a deal. But, yeah, it's a little bit annoying. I just didn't want to fight an Orc Warrior with a crossbow that could do, like, 20 plus damage to me. That just seems a little bit shady to me. Alright, well, you know, that's fine, I guess. Alright, I'm going to continue exploring. I'm just going to randomly talk now, because I've kind of done this over and over again. No need to re-explain. No need to beat the dead horse. Here we go. Hey, a Buckler. Bucklers only take 4 skill for a Draconian to pick up. They tend to be really good for Draconians, because Draconians love to have an extra set of defense. So I think that it's worthwhile for me to actually have it on right now. I'm going to go ahead and start training shields. So I'm training 4 skills at once now. This is usually as high as I'll go in terms of training. I usually like a 20-40, 20-20 split. Usually with 40 on either like fighting or my main weapon, depending on if my weapon's a min delay or not. Sometimes if it's a mage, I'll do it on magic. But yeah, usually it looks something like this. Our skills have progressed pretty well. A Buckler is a very cheap investment. It's unlikely that this character is going to go two-handed. And even if he is, the loss of 4 shield is not 4 shield worth of EXP is not a huge deal for me, so I'm okay with it. It also doesn't really drastically affect our swing speed, which is fine. Did I drop all my stones? No, I just didn't have it on. Alright, again, gonna use this downstairs, or this upstairs as like a proxy upstairs. It's kind of like establishing a link. The minimap you can see here is a large circle extending around the upstairs. Now that I have another upstairs, I can continue to extend in this direction, which is quite nice for me. Oops. Ooh, the movement speed. God damn it. Alright, gotta use shift tab. I gotta remember to use shift move. That's like actually a good strat. Here's a scorpion. I think they're actually are poise minus, I'm not sure. Yeah, they are. Okay, cool. Switch the dagger venom. Stab the crap out of him. Easy peasy kill. Go up this one. Yeah, these like, real talk, these videos are much more draining than I was expecting. They're actually quite difficult to do for several days in a row. I may end up not doing this as a full-time series, as I said before. I think it's more relevant for me to have it done when I'm at my optimal, rather than when I'm just, like, feeling it. Or, sorry, rather than full-time, I think it's better to just do it when it suits me best. Okay, so this is an Orc Warrior. He's not a huge threat. He is actually quite a threat because he has a lot of armor, but we have a lot of weapons to take him out, namely Venom. Venom punches through his armor and just does flat damage. He's kind of squishy behind his armor, so we can open him up pretty easily. I'm going to switch to my Dagger Venom again to fight these 2 orcs that are on the downstairs. They're at this point completely trivial and not worth my consideration. Again, like, I think like there's a really good there's like a really good quote from a chess site that I was reading, or a chess forum, or something. I actually don't remember. It actually also might be a book. Ooh, it was an ice beast. All right, we'll talk about it in a sec. But he said something like this. I think it was a grandmaster who said it. I'm pretty sure, but he said something like 70% of all moves could be done by like anyone, and then like 20% of moves could only be done by like grandmasters, and then 5% of the moves, or is it, yeah, it's 75, 20, and then 5% of moves can only be seen by like the best of the best, right? And the same kind of goes for Dungeon Crawl as well. Like, the bar to winning Dungeon Crawl, once you sit down and think about it, and you're actually like a reasonable player, it's actually not that high at all. People get Greaterplayer without really having to do much. It's not really that big of an effort. And Salt City kind of proves that in a way by creating a mass-producible Greaterplayer. Having said that, though, there are only certain people that can streak reliably. And those are the people that have the ability to make those 5% plays, those 1% plays, those lines that make the game consistently easier for them. And I think that's like kind of what this series is trying to show, but I'm not exactly sure if it's being successful. So far, how many of the 5% plays have we been able to show in this game? I would say maybe 2 or 3. No, not even. I think we've only shown 20% plays so far. The 5% plays are much more difficult to spot, but the 20% plays, like the Adder, being careful of the Adder, being careful of Don Devesa, being careful of Sigmund, like those are all plays that most players could navigate in their daily lives. And I honestly think that I would navigate them in a normal game and I would have no trouble navigating it at that point anyway. I've actually wasted more turns because I've played this way to kind of scour through all the options. Will we see a 5% in this series? Possibly. I think it is very possible that we'll see something that could only really be avoided if I was playing very carefully, and only if I was playing quite optimally. An example of this is the Ice Beast. What are we going to do against this guy? Ordinarily, a logic would state that fighting this guy with the Dagger of Electrocution is the best move, correct? Yeah, to some degree, yes. However, the Draconians are actually cold-blooded, so cold attacks will slow them. meaning that this could potentially be a very bad fight. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to risk for a banishment. And remove the situation entirely. The Ice Beast at this stage is not horribly difficult, but I'd rather not fight it and have to find out why it's bad. Again, that's not a 5% play. I wasn't trying to demonstrate that it was a 5% play. I'm just saying that for this particular instance, I just made a consideration and I was like, okay, well, I don't think it's worth it for me to not have... Sorry, it's not worth it for me to try to fight that guy. It just doesn't seem like it does much. There's no benefit for it. Alright, switch to the Hunting Sling again. Hunting Sling can be thought of as a pseudo beam attack. If it misses its first target, it'll continue to fire on to its second, and maybe its third, which makes it kind of useful for generally clearing areas. Alright, here I'm surrounded. I'm just going to go ahead and dig out. I knew that I had the digging option, so I wasn't like super afraid. I should have seen it coming though. The magic mapping should have told me. Again, these are situations where I'm not really in much threat, but the loss of one digging ability might be potentially important. Like, it's very hard to see what exactly kills you in this game. A lot of players, when they're starting off, will focus very specifically on the extreme specifics, and I always go out of my way in videos to explain to them why or why not, why they shouldn't give a shit about the specifics. There are significantly more mistakes that you can make that aren't being displayed, or that you're not thinking about, that you should be thinking about when you're a new player. So, for example, someone in Discord was continuously telling me, hey, wait a second, I died to this particular thing in Elf as a character with no runes. And I was like, don't go into Elf. And he would insist that there was some particular reason why he died in Elf that he could have avoided. He's like, oh, if I only had RC plus on, which I had, then the bolt of cold from the ice demon wouldn't have killed me. Or he was like, oh, I shouldn't have fought a thing in this particular spot. I should have moved 2 tiles up instead. But he's a Formicid and Elf with no runes. It's like the logic there is flawed because you're looking so deeply at the minute result that you're ignoring the fact that you're in Elf as a Formicid with no runes, like and no MR, nothing. Like it doesn't help. And the logic was like, oh, because I went to go find a weapon in there when he in reality actually did have a decent weapon already, but he didn't think it was a decent weapon. He was just like, I need a better one because I've only seen like games with good loot win. He was like, oh, because of that, the decision to go into Elf was actually correct. And all I did wrong was make a tactical error. And the reality is, again, that's not correct because the amount of win rate that you gain by not going into Elf was way higher than the percentage of the line that you made at the very end. It's kind of like in chess. Again, we're using chess as an analogy because it's one of the few games that have like the same level of underlying non-real-timeness. It's a turn-based game. Like there's a lot of different branching paths, which not many other games really do offer other than other roguelikes, but I feel like it's kind of a moot point to talk to a Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup roguelike community about another roguelike that I don't even play. Like I could definitely talk about like Adom or Tales of Mael or something, but ultimately that's not relevant to this community, and it's really not relevant to me because I don't play those games. Chess I do read about. I don't play myself like a lot, but I do read a lot about it because I'm interested in it. But a lot of the underlying teachings that they have are really, really important. There was also a Grandmaster, by the way, that confirmed my actual hypothesis that people should not ever talk about having a playstyle below quote-unquote Grandmaster level because everything you make is just unoptimal anyway. It doesn't make any sense for you to have a playstyle, but that's beside the point. What I'm trying to more say here is this particular run should not be used as an example for people to say, oh, the reason why I died was this minute play. I didn't make the 5% chance. The majority of players that are watching the video, not all of you, and I'm not calling you bad, will be the ones that are trying to make the 75% play or the 20% play, not the 5% play. I think the 5% play would be something like Man dying to a wand of acid. right? Yomak dying to a Wand of Acid. Those, they did not make the 5% play because they were not aiming to make the 5% play. They were actually aiming to just make as many wins as possible with 95% of success chance. And because they were unable to make that 5% line and say like, well, it's Ijib and he has a Wand of Acid, potentially I need to play around that, and they just didn't see it, or they got really unlucky. They didn't take immediate action. Maybe they were delayed by one turn. They were killed by a Wand of Acid, right? Again, it might not be the best argument because, of course, there is nuance to that. There are plenty of players, there are plenty of situations, and I honestly believe that there are situations now in this game where death is completely unavoidable. Death does come in thick and fast and completely unable to, like, be avoided. For example, one of my games, I had a Centaur with a Wand of Acid. You can't run away from a Centaur with a Wand of Acid. Whether he's in melee or if he's in range with you, he's faster than you, and he has a fucking Wand of Acid. It's an unavoidable death, except unless you were very specifically, of course, making the 5% play again. I would say that, like, the optimization in that case would have to be exploration, and even then, the exploration strategy would only really increase your winning line percentage by, like, maybe 30% in that specific scenario. It brings your win rate from 0% to 30%, so, like, the percentages are very difficult to calculate, of course. I'm making them all up. But the point that I was trying to make here is that, like, don't take this series as a way to justify your death unless you know that every other factor is being controlled for. This is a very specific self-experiment where I already know how to play this game and I know how to make 5% plays, but I'm identifying more of them and potentially even finding 1% plays. Right, so that's basically the point that I was trying to make. I apologize that I haven't been playing on the screen, but as I said in the beginning of the series, and I've said this before the series started, I kind of wanted to have this series be half a podcast, half a gameplay video, because a lot of it's more about discussion, understanding the underlying thought processes, rather than playing the video game itself. Yeah, so I think that having said all that, having reasoned that all out, it makes more sense for me to not do this Greaterplayer run as a full Greaterplayer run. Or, sorry, more accurately, it's not the full focus of the channel because I think that it would be really difficult to pull off. I think instead what I might do is have streams of this Greaterplayer run and post it to the channel so that everyone can watch it and everyone can interact live. It will still be part of the channel, of course, in terms of, like, these kind of videos, but I think there needs to be room for, like, not this type of content, because this will take possibly up to 2 years to finish. Like, it's a very long project, so we'll see how things go. Anyway, I'm going to take the same line as I did before with the Ice Beast, banish that guy, and then I'm going to go down a different staircase. The Kobold with the blowgun is a fairly whatever enemy. I can probably kill him before he poisons me. I just don't want to make that call immediately. Big Kobold is next to me, but there is also a Ogre on this downstairs. I need to be cognizant of that and not go down this downstairs until the Ogre is dealt with. Okay, so I'm going to X out this area using E to exclude it out so I know not to go down there. Alright, so all three staircases are very, very, very far away from each other. Alright, bees. So bees generally are fairly easy to fight if you have decent defense. Even if you don't have R-Poise, there are a couple of things you can get rid of, use to get rid of them. Enslavement ones, which we don't have. Poison, which we do have in spades. And generally just a Potion of Might or Agility will help. Bees do come in packs though, so this position I'm facing them in is not a good place. I would rather... Fuck me! Ah, oh, V keys, please. Fuck. God damn it. Alright, well, that's fine. So I want to stand kind of here and then switch the Dagger of Venom. But I actually also want... Fucking V keys, you fucking shit. You bloody shitters. Okay, I'm in a bad spot now. I'm going to go ahead and read a Fear Scroll. And I'm going to try to kill this asshole bee here. This is a bad spot to be in. I'm actually going to try to banish him now. There we go. I'm going to pull upstairs. I fucked up the V keys twice. I'm fucking tilted now. Oh, man. Oh, fuck. I'm so tilted. I'm actually pissed off now. Holy shit. This is devastating to me. Like, that actually cost me a fear scroll in the game. Like, my own inability to fight the video game cost me, like, real consequences. That's so devastating. I hate this so much. Alright, switch to the blowgun. If we can get a couple of cheeky blowgun shots off, that'd be nice. Alright, we now have a water moccasin, an invisible orc priest, and a bee. The answer is run away. Like, there's no need to discuss that point. K goes up. Thank you, God. Alright, switch to... Use the blowgun a bit, switch to the dagger venom, take him out. Easy peasy kill. I can no longer go down this staircase, or really this staircase, as they're guarded by an ogre, a potential bee pack that we haven't finished off, an orc priest that's invisible, and a water moccasin. So, basically just don't do that. Alright, now we're in a position that's not significantly better, but it's not too bad either. It's just a bunch of kobolds, which are not horribly threatening in the first place. I got my fear scroll back, thankfully. But now I am in a position where I'm getting poisoned to hellfuck. Jesus Christ. Okay. Alright. Clearly, I'm getting tilted off this game. Because I fucked up twice. And that made me play really badly for a bit. Which caused me to take a lot of poison damage. Which was not necessarily dangerous. And honestly, I made a mistake by resting here. I should have in fact rested in a corridor where I could have escaped with a corner or something. Like, maybe... Maybe like here would be good. Because I can see things and run away if I need to, like right here. If someone came from over here, I can run away to this corner. Someone comes in from here, I can run away to that corner. I mean, this one's not too bad either. I have a lot of corners to look around, but either way, I'm probably too tilted to keep playing. I think someone messaged me on League as well. Yes, they have, because I have dual monitors I can check now. But yeah, I'm going to stop the video game. Oh, V keys are pissing me off, man. I feel like if I played with arrow keys, this would be a lot less painful, but I'm trying to learn V keys, so, you know, unlucky. Anyway, yeah, so to finish the stream off, I'll finish the video off. I will probably be streaming more often to try to get this, to power through these runs, which means that we'll have like 1-2 hour sessions of this, this run rather than having like just 40-minute, 30-minute chunks that will be, like, it'll take too long, basically. We've only got to D8, and it's video fucking 4 or some shit now. Like, it's absurd how slow we are. I think streams will help us pick the pace up, let people interact more live. Should be a bit more interesting. We'll see how things go. Anyway, until next time, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all tomorrow.